So we are about to begin, and we are going to start with the presentation of the colors, and they will be presented by Caleb Weiss of Trent Street, Max Guiley of Cumberland, and Julian Gavin of Surrey. And say goodbye to our firefighters. So, and once the colors are presented, then we will be treated by a performance by one of our major singers in town, Andrew Lewis, who will lead us in the national anthem, and then followed by the Somerset anthem, the words of which are being passed out now. So we will now ask for everyone to pay attention as the colors are presented by the color guard. Okay, I want to present the colors by 3 Somerset young people who I'm sure will be the future leaders of the town. Let's give them a round of applause. And you can stay there while we're singing. And now, Andrew, hit it.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? So we're going to do the Somerset anthem. The only problem is I don't have the lyrics and I don't remember them.
So we will give you. Here you go.
Fantastic. Not that I'm sure all of you are embarrassed on my behalf since you've memorized this so many times over. So just as a reminder, the tune goes something like, in the shadows of our nation's home, there lies a special place. And then it goes on something like that. But we've been doing this now for a few years, so I think we've all pretty much got it. All right, so the Somerset anthem. In the shadows of our nation's home, there lies a special place, born when a century turned its page and grown with timeless grace, where neighbors live 'neath noble trees and friends are made we won't forget. We call it home, this special place, our town of Somerset.
Thank you so much, Andrew. And I think, as everyone knows, that song, that anthem, was penned by partially by our former late mayor, Walter Bear, with great assistance by former council member Kathy Picard. And we thank you so much for that. So now we will have greetings and remarks from our elected officials. So if our elected officials can come to the front, and we're going to start with Rich Madalena representing our county executive, Mark Elrich.
Thank you very much, Mayor Slavin. I bring you greetings from our county executive. Mark Elrich. As you know, it's a busy day always on July the 4th. So we're out and about all over the place trying to celebrate our great community and our great country. And do I just get to turn it over to the next person, or are you doing it, Jeffrey? So, all right. Thank you all very much, and have a wonderful 4th of July.
Thank you. Now, I should have had our great Congressman Jamie Raskin go first, but you're going to talk. Yeah. Come on up, Congressman.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. Yay. This is so awesome. This is so great. I think we got everybody here except for the teenagers went to Beach Week, it looks like. But let's hear it for Mayor Jeffrey Slavin, if we could. It doesn't get more patriotic than that. I got to do one parade yesterday up in Sykesville, which was beautiful. And this is my first event of the day. And I always love coming to Somerset. To me, it exemplifies what small town America is really all about. And I once read this essay by George Orwell about the difference between patriotism and nationalism. It was really interesting. And in it, he said that patriotism is about love of your country, love of your community, love of your people, its laws, its constitution, the values, the histories, and the traditions that bring us together. Nationalism is about sinking your identity into a large, violent entity and going to war against other people. And so he said, try to be patriotic and be wary of nationalism, those who would try to make you dissolve all of your critical thinking skills, all of your values into some big, violent, bureaucratic machine. So here I feel the patriotism of Maryland. I feel the patriotism of our people. And after what we've been through with COVID-19, with the violent insurrection and assault on the Capitol on January 6th, it's wonderful to be able to say that America is back, democracy is back, and patriotism is strong in the country. So thank you for being Somerset. Thank you, Mayor Slavin, for always standing strong for the values of our country. And I wish all of you really beloved, happy Independence Day.
Thank you, Jamie. That was beautiful. Now, representing our own neighbor, Attorney General Brian Frosch, is the power behind the throne, his wife, Marcy.
I don't think anybody can improve upon the words of Senator Senator I made you a senator. I'm not sure if anybody, can you hear me?
Testing, okay.
I'm not sure if anybody can ever improve on the words of Congressman Raskin, so I won't even try, but I will send a greeting of very happy 4th of July from Brian. He will be here in a little bit, but all the best to all of you, and God bless.
We're also joined by our distinguished Chief of Police in Montgomery County, Marcus Jones. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to the town of Somerset. And I just bring you greetings from the Montgomery County Police Department. And we are here to say to you, we are here for you today and every day to protect and keep our community safe. And we want you to have a very safe, happy 4th of July. So happy 4th of July to everyone. And please have a great day. And looking forward to see you all real soon. Thank you so very much.
And next, our distinguished state senator, Susan Lee.
Thank you, Mayor Slavin. Can we give Mayor Slavin a hand and the whole council of Somerset? Great work that they've done. I'm State Senator Susan Lee. I'm here with my wonderful, wonderful colleagues, Delegates Ariana Kelly, Delegate Mark Harmon, and Delegate Sarah Love. And we were fighting for you in Annapolis. It was a really challenging session, but we got through it, even though we had to be in plexiglass structures, but we did it because we knew that we had to pass a budget and pass important legislation to get us through this pandemic and to get everybody back on their feet, get everybody back to their jobs, and get back to our new norm. So we thank you, but we want to thank you for doing your part too, like perhaps you're not being able to see your loved ones, practicing social distancing and wearing masks. And then finally, when that vaccine got available, getting vaccinated. Because when you did your part, we are getting out of the darkness and there's a light ahead of the tunnel. So I thank you for doing your part so that we can do our job too. But I'd like to just acknowledge our wonderful sterling champion of democracy, Congressman Jamie Raskin. Can you give him a hand again? Isn't he wonderful? I feel safe. I feel secure when we have a congressman like Jamie Raskin representing us in the halls of Congress, and I know that we'll be okay. But you know, generations defended freedom and democracy, and we're trying to build on that too. So I thank you for all that you do, because we're so unique as a country because of our rich diversity, but also as what we share in common. So again, thank you for letting me represent you, and the honor and privilege of representing you in the Maryland State Senate. Thank you so much.
We are so fortunate that in Annapolis, District 16, we have the best team. We work very closely with all 4 of them on many issues that benefit all of you. And I'll now bring up the team in alphabetical order, starting with Delegate Ariana Kelly.
Hi, everybody, and thank you again to Mayor Slavin for having us today and for really welcoming us into the community of Somerset, which we love so much. You guys are such an incredible community. We appreciate the values that you share with us as we're fighting for you in Annapolis on the important issues that Susan, Senator Lee just talked about. We know that Somerset is going to stand strong as we're trying to work. I serve on the healthcare committee, doing a lot of work to promote access to the vaccine, to protect people, particularly over the last year as we struggled with the COVID pandemic. We know how hard it was for so many people in our community, and it's communities like this, like Somerset, that really inspired us to do the work that we were doing. I really cannot tell you how unique a place this is, you know, because you live here. So I would really like to just give a shout out to Somerset for having such strong community values, for caring about each other, for caring about your neighbors, for caring about our community and society at large. We obviously need more of that in this nation, so I want to thank you for what you do, and thank you for sending me to Annapolis to represent this community and to serve with our extraordinary team, both in Annapolis, at the county level, at the state level. I work with great colleagues, and you're going to hear from them next, so I just want to thank you, and again, wish you happy 4th of July.
Next, Delegate Mark Corman.
Thank you, Mayor. Afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Corman. I'm really proud to represent this district in the state legislature. Since the Attorney General's wife didn't steal his usual line, I will and say today is not a day for long speeches, but it is a day to celebrate. Not only celebrating the birthday of America, but really sort of waking up from our long hibernation of what we've been going through the past year plus. So it's great to be with all of you today, to celebrate, to hear the kids read the Declaration of Independence, and to enjoy each other's company. So happy 4th of July, everybody, and thank you so much.
And last but not least, Delegate Sarah Love.
Thank you, Mayor. It's wonderful to see you all. I bring up the rear not only in terms of alphabetically, but also as the newest member. So this is my first time here, and I am thrilled to see all of you. Thank you so much for your support. I loved knocking on doors and talking to all of you. I serve on the Environment and Transportation Committee, and I know how much the environment means to all of you. So please, if you have any ideas for legislation or concerns about the environment, do not hesitate to reach out. Have a great day, and thank you all so much.
Thank Next, we will ask for members of the County Council. We'll start with at-large member Hans Remer.
Thank you, Mayor Slavin. Hi, everyone. I'm Hans Remer. I'm one of your 4 at-large council members. I'm really glad to be here with you today. I can't add much, but I want to say, as I was driving over, I was thinking about this holiday and what it means to all of us. And to me, when I think lately about being patriotic, about loving this country, a person comes to mind, and that is Congressman Jamie Raskin, because he has made us so proud on the front lines of a battle that we know we have been waging for hundreds of years. This country was founded with a lot of great ideas and a lot of bad ones too. And it's been our job since the beginning to forge a more perfect union. And you can't do that without politics and government, because that's the arena. And it takes great leaders standing up for what's right and bringing the people together. And Congressman Jamie Raskin, you make us proud, and we are so grateful for your service and your leadership. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Last but not least, I want to call up our District 1 Councilmember Andrew Friedson, who is probably the elected official that we have worked most closely with during these pandemic times, and has done so much to assist us as we keep our high quality life in Somerset during the pandemic. So thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you so much, Mayor Slavin, the hardest working mayor of Montgomery County, maybe in America. Thank you to the council. It is so great to join our incredible congressman on this really important day. When I think of Independence Day, we think about our country's independence, but really think about the interdependence of our community. That hasn't become more clear than over the last 15, 16 months as we have gone through this pandemic together. It's because of you that we can have this event at all. The fact that 98% of Montgomery County residents 65 and older have received a shot, have received the shot of a vaccine. Let's hear it for 98%. 89% of all eligible residents 12 and older in Montgomery County have received at least 1 shot of the vaccine. These are incredible numbers. They're not because of the people standing up here. They're because of all of you, because of a community that really understands how important this is, really understands how much we are relying on each other in order to get through this. We are the highest number in Montgomery County of medium and large size jurisdictions, over 300,000 of eligible residents being vaccinated. It's something we should all be proud of. It's something we should all take pride in the country. In the country. I got the chief administrative officer making sure that I get the data sets right, so I appreciate that. But it really is an amazing feat for all of us. We are not through this pandemic yet. We still have work to do. We have not fulfilled our country's ideals. We still have a lot of work there as well to form a more perfect union. But I know together with this community here in Somerset, with our county, in Montgomery County, we're going to work closer towards it. We're going to get through this pandemic stronger than ever, and we're going to move closer and closer to the ideals that our country has set forth for the world. So thank you so much. God bless you. God bless America.
Thank you very much. So before we move on to the highlight of the day, the reading of the Declaration of Independence by our youth, I would like to recognize and bring forward the members of the Town Council who are here today. I think I saw President Steve Serco, here he is, come forward, because I'm going to ask all the ones who are here to help with the rest of the program. What about Councilmember Robin Barr? Is he here? Councilwoman Debbie Heller. Oh, here she is. Councilmember Kabir Kumar. Come forward. And I think that our newly, I did want to say that Councilmember Jack Frink, who got elected in May, was made the move to retire to the West Coast, and he unfortunately resigned last week. And the town council appointed new Councilmember Shannon Rovak, who lives right across the street. And I know she's out of town today, but she looks forward to working with all of you. So if you could, members, stay here for later in the program. So now I'm going to turn it over to my next door neighbor, Kathy Toomey, for the reading of the Declaration of Independence. And I just want to say, this is one of the hardest volunteer jobs in town. And I think, what is this, your 4th year?
Oh, I don't know. Longer.
Whatever.
Long.
She took it over from Gina Pack, who did it a long time. But thank you, Kathy.
All right. So can everyone who's reading the Declaration come forward? Guys, mascots, Rileys. Okay. All right, so we're going to have a slightly altered reading of the Declaration this year. We have a relatively small number of volunteers, so we're going to be reading the most important parts and a few other parts, but there's a few blanks in the middle. So if there's anybody else who wants to volunteer, run up and I'll give you a part. Otherwise, you'll hear all the important parts of the Declaration. Okay. Lola, you going to start us off? Here. Actually, you can stand down here. Just hold it up close to your mouth.
In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous Declaration of the 13th United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for their light and transit causes, and according all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed.
But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world.
He refused his assent to laws the most wholesome and necessary for the public good, and has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, and thus suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended is utterly neglected to attend to them.
He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time after such disillusions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers incapable of annihilation have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of lands. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers.
He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislature. He is affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He is combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation.
For cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases, and for the benefits of trial by jury.
For transporting us, not like the transporters, beyond the seas to be tried for pretended offices. Sorry about that. For abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government, enlarging his boundaries so as to render it at once an example to fit instruments for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, and for taking away our charters, abolishing most of our valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our governments.
In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of free people.
Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time attempts by their legislator to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of the immigration and settlements here. We have applied to their native justice and magnanimity. We have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would
inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind enemies in war, in peace friends. For suspending our own legislators and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever.
He's abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coast, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people.
He is at this time transporting the large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny, already begun with the circumstances of cruelty and perfidy, scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation.
But to where?
Just right here.
We don't have to end it. He has concentrated our fellow citizens, take captive on the high seas, to bear arms against the country, to become executioners of their friends in Britain, or to fall themselves by their hands.
We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assembled appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortune, and our sacred honor.
So I'd just like to say a big thank you to all of our readers. It's super intimidating to get up here and read words that most adults have to look up, like consanguinity. So thank you to everybody who participated voluntarily or maybe like voluntoldly. So anyway, but thank you, everyone.
Yes, and we will publish the names in the Town Journal next month. Before we move on, I do want to say I didn't get a chance earlier to proclaim that we have the best congressman in America, don't we? And now given that I think everybody knows that he's a constitutional scholar and professor, so he's going to provide some brief MSNBC-style commentary on the reading.
All right, well, let's hear it for those kids. That was something. I've got with me Democracy Summer Fellows. Wave some of the fellows who've come. These are high school and college kids studying American politics and being engaged this summer. And so they brought constitutions, so we were ready to give all the readers one. Well, Bobby, just thinking a little bit about Lincoln at the Gettysburg battlefield in 1863. And you kids know, how did he start that speech? What were the famous words that he used to start it? I know Councilman Friedson knows it. Any of you kids know it? How did he start it out? You remember that? 407 years ago, right? And so that was in 1863. So a score is 20 years. So how long is 407 years? 87 years. So if you subtract 87 from 1863, what do you get? 1776, right? And so what happened in 1776? The Declaration of Independence, right? So what was interesting about that was Lincoln did not date the beginning of the country to the writing of the Constitution, we the people, in order to form our purview, but rather to the Declaration, when in the course of human events. And you know, there were a number of iterations of the Constitution before we got there. There were the Articles of Association, there were the Articles of Confederation, then there was the Constitution. And Lincoln was saying that the country didn't begin with the Constitution and the rules for government. It began with the values that were embodied in the Declaration about the right of the people to engage in self-government, the consent of the governed, and that all of us are created equal. All of us are created equal, and the rest of our history has been an attempt to live up to the values that Jefferson put into the Declaration of Independence. And as flawed as he was, and he was flawed like the rest of us, those words about the right to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, equality for all of us, the right to participate as citizens through the consent of the governed, those values were there from the very beginning. And that's why I think in small towns across America, kids get up and they read the Declaration of Independence because it proclaimed the principles and the values that would organize us as a country. So, Somerset, Montgomery County, Maryland, America, let's keep going. Let's keep making this a more perfect union.
And before I turn it over to the council president, I also want to again acknowledge and thank our police chief, Marcus Jones, who has really been in the battle this last year and has done quite a bit to assist our town, in particular appearing on a Zoom with lots of information for you that is available on the website. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our council president to read the names of our graduates, and he will be assisted by council member Debbie Heller, who will be giving a beautiful towel to all the graduates.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to announce all of the graduates from Somerset, starting with Rebecca Paul from Surrey Street. She graduated from BCC High School and is on to Marist College. Gavin Crowell from Essex is graduated from BCC High School and is on to Haverford College. Delia Vanderzon from Fallstone, graduated from BCC High School, is going on to Georgetown. And her sister Nicole is also going on to Georgetown University. Clara, there's a note here that says she graduated in 2020. So sorry, thank you. Clara Weiss from Trent, graduated from Chevy Chase Elementary School, and will be going to Westland Middle School. Thank you.
Is that better?
Emily Smith from Uppingham, graduated from BCC High School and is off to UVA. Samantha Smith, also graduated from BCC High School and is off to Boston College. Claudia Lapson from Fallstone, graduated from Sidwell Friends School and is off to University of Michigan. Alex Pack, graduated magna cum laude from College of Charleston. Anna Carmer from Essex, graduated from BCC High School and is on to Dickinson College. Francesca Terbush from Cumberland, graduated from BCC High School and is off to Northeastern University. Willa Spalter from Warwick, graduated from National Cathedral School and is off to Colby College. Jeremy Margolis from Essex, graduated from Georgetown Day School and is off to Wake Forest University. Everett Mascott, graduated from Surrey, graduated from Landon Lower School and is off to Landon. Phoebe Lewis from Trent, graduated from Westland and is off to BCC. I apologize if I misspoke anyone's name, and if I missed anyone, please come on up here anyhow, and I'll give the details.
Don't be shy.
Hey,
what other graduates?
All graduates. Yeah, you guys are going to Westland. Go eat at Natalie Williams. I know you're going to Westland. All right?
Okay, so we have to talk to you. Okay, the ones that weren't on the list have to introduce themselves.
Oh, we have a whole bunch. That's great.
Okay, you got to introduce yourself. Tell us your name and your street and where you graduated from and where you're going.
Luca Bent from Essex Avenue, and I am going to the French International School.
Where did you graduate?
From the French International School.
Okay, thank you. Next. Okay, who's next? Come on, don't be shy.
June Zaft from Dorset Avenue. I'm going to Westland Middle School.
And you graduated from?
Somerset.
Somerset Elementary, yay. Okay, next.
My name is Clara Weiss. I live on Trent Street. I graduated from Chevy Chase Elementary, and I'm going to Westland.
Yay.
I'm Julia Medin. I'm from Warwick, and I graduated from Westland Middle. I'm going to BCC.
I'm Olivia Zaft. I'm on Dorset. I graduated from Westland Middle School and I'm going to BCC.
I'm Joey Edick. I live on Warwick Place and I'm graduated from Somerset Elementary and I'm going to Westland Middle School.
I'm Natalie Williams. I live on Warwick Place and I graduated from Somerset Elementary School and I'm going to Westland Middle School.
I'm Rebecca Paul. I graduated from BCC and I'm going to Marist College.
Wonderful. Is that okay? Let's have a big round of applause for all the graduates. We have incredible young people in the town, the future leaders. So before I turn it over to Councilmember Kumar to give out the swim team records, I do want to publicly thank our town manager, Matt Trollinger, our town administrative assistant, Linda Williams, who put this on today. Linda. Enrique Cabrera, who's the head of our maintenance staff, and Tomas Villanueva and Jose Castillo. They are the ones that really keep this town humming daily. And now, council member, one of our new council members, Kabir Kumar, is going to announce the swim team. I do want to thank the chair of the swim team committee, Jeff Mascott. Oh, and before, wait a minute. We've been joined by one of our most distinguished town residents, Attorney General Brian Frush. Come forward and tell a joke, Brian. That's what they all came for. Another defender of democracy.
So first of all, I understand that Marcy has already spoken, so really I can't do any better than that or better than Jamie Raskin. But thank you very much for organizing this great July 4th celebration, Mr. Mayor, council members. You're way ahead of the game if you can't hear me. Look, we've just been through a very trying 4 years. And our country has been challenged in ways that it hasn't been challenged in more than 100 years. And I think, especially on July 4th, I think back to the most troubled time during my life, which was the 1960s, when we were in the middle of the struggle for civil rights and in the middle of the Vietnam War. And in 1968, Bobby Kennedy was running for president. And he was to speak at a rally in Indianapolis. And a couple of hours before the rally, Martin Luther King was assassinated. And Kennedy wanted to tell the crowd, and the Secret Service wanted him to get out of town. They thought his life was in danger. And folks, there was no internet in those days, there were no cell phones, so people in the crowd didn't know. And Kennedy, when he came out, he announced that Martin Luther King had been murdered, and you could hear in the recording of it cries and screams of people. And Kennedy silenced the crowd, and he went on to say the following. It was completely extemporaneous, but he said, what we need in the United States now is not division. What we need in the United States now is not hatred. What we need in the United States now is not violence or lawlessness, but love and wisdom and compassion for one another, and a feeling of justice for those who still suffer in our country. That's what my office fights for every day. That's what July 4th is about, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks for celebrating the 4th. Happy Independence Day.
We're also joined by another of our statewide leaders, Comptroller Peter Francho, who has done an incredible job working with us all these years as Comptroller, keeping our finances in tip-top shape.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And I noticed that Brian neglected to introduce his better half, Marcy, who's here somewhere. Where'd Marcy go? Here she is. Yeah, there she is. So Marcy Frosch, give her a big round of applause. And I have with me a rare occurrence, which is my wife of 41 years. We're residents of Tacoma Park for that whole time. She's over there in the blue t-shirt. Please say hi to her. And let me echo General Frosch's comments about being aware of what's going on. People are incredibly focused on the national scene and the kind of dystopic, difficult situation that exists in Washington. In Maryland, we lost 9,000 plus people to COVID. This is an enormous death toll in our state. We have 450,000 people that were infected. That's also a huge problem. We've lost 40,000 small businesses. That's a big impact on our state's economy. As we move forward into normalcy, I feel a little bit like a cicada coming out of the ground and being able to come and see you guys. But as we move forward into the sunshine, make sure we don't forget people that have suffered and continue to suffer. And I want to thank General Frosch and Hans Riemer and all the elected officials, Andrew Friedson, along with Jamie Raskin, for getting, I believe, a situation where the governor is reconsidering whether the unemployment payments to our most disadvantaged citizens should continue for the next 2 months. I think that's going to happen, and I applaud all of the elected officials from our side that have been very effective on that. Let me just conclude by saying I have made 10,000 visits over my time as your comptroller to small businesses, primarily in communities like this, all over the state of Maryland. I have met with thousands of local officials. I have done all sorts of meetings at faith communities or schools. We've visited hundreds and hundreds of schools. I want to announce, using my sole authority as the comptroller of the great state of Maryland, that Somerset's #1 in my book. You guys have a tremendous community. And the mayors, obviously Jeff Slavin, but also the members of your council, hats off. But hats off to each of you, because you've produced something very special and unique in the great state of Maryland. Thank you very much. All the best. Happy 4th.
Yes, Peter has done an amazing job working with us all these years. And now, Council Member Kumar has the floor.
Happy 4th, Somerset. Thank you, Mayor Slavin. Thank you, Council President, and thank you all those who spoke. I'm going to announce the swim team records. Each year on the 4th, we announce the records and the swimmers get a certificate. But last year, we didn't have a season. So I'm going to announce the records from 2019. But before I do that, I just want to, as a father of a swimmer, I know how hard the swimmers fight for every second. The Somerset Dolphins team plays hard, but also works hard. So I encourage you all to read the updates on the listserv, because that's where you get the real hard-fought seconds from each of the swimmers. So a round of applause to the whole Somerset Dolphins swim team. Can you hear me, by the way? Can you hear me? All right.
You read the name.
Okay, so I'm going to read the name of the swimmer and the record, and the swimmer is going to come up, and Mayor Slavin is going to give the swimmer a certificate for each of the records. So many records were set in 2019. Let's start with the record set by Dylan Riley. In 2019, Dylan set the team record in the following events: boys 8 and under 25 meter freestyle, boys 8 and under 25 meter backstroke, boys 8 and under 25 meter breaststroke. I think only one stroke was left, I think. Well done, Dylan. Next, I want to recognize Gage Bolton for setting the team record in the boys 9, 10, 25 meter breaststroke. Well done, Gage. Peter Kumar set the team record in the boys 11, 12, 50 meter freestyle. Peter is not here, so he's away. He's away. Yes, he's away. Okay. He's away. I'll take it, sir. I'll take it.
Do you want to disclose?
I'm proud of you, Peter, wherever you are.
That's the father. In case you don't know, that's the father.
Okay, Miles Harrelson set the team record in 2 events. Is Miles here? Okay, Miles' sister Jade is going to take the certificates. Boys 13, 14, 50 meter freestyle. Boys 13, 14, 50 meter butterfly. All right, here we go. Emily Smith set the team record in the girls 15, 18, 100 meter breaststroke. Well done, Emily. Samantha Smith set 3 team records in 2019. Girls 15, 18, 100 meter individual medley. Girls 15, 18, 100 meter backstroke. And the 50 meter butterfly. Well done. Stay here, Sam. Stay. And 3 team relay records were set in 2019. Samantha Smith, Emily Smith, Nicole Van der Zon, and Delia Van der Zon for the girls open 200 meter medley relay. Well done. Gage Bolton, Peter Kumar, Miles Harrelson, Dylan Riley not only set individual records, but they also set 2 relay records. The first is the boys 14 and under 175 meter graduated freestyle relay, and the second is the boys 14 and under 100 meter medley relay. Well done. Congratulations, Somerset Dolphins. Happy 4th, everyone.
And while Councilmember Debbie Heller is coming to the stage, I do want to mention to everyone that Somerset belongs to Montgomery Municipal Channel, Channel 16, which is being recorded today, and I hope everybody will tune in, and you can check the website for information about it. I hope you're paying attention to the great programming of Channel 16. And now, we will be joined by Councilmember Debbie Heller in her debut.
Okay, we've saved the last for best, the best for last. And it is the awards for the cupcake contest. All right, first we want to thank our judges, Phyllis Wiesenfelder and Bruce and Barbara Tully. I'm sure this was a very hard job. And can we eat those cupcakes after?
Yes.
And we can eat those cupcakes after. Please leave one for my husband, Jamie. This is how I got him here. He's back there somewhere. Okay, so now what you've been waiting for.
Chief of Staff.
my Chief of Staff, yes. For third place, we want to congratulate the Edict family. Please come up.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on. Okay, congratulations. In second place, from Trent Street, we have Clara Weiss. Where are you, Clara? There you are. There's Clara. Thank you for baking for us. And last, but certainly not least, in first place, we have from Surrey Street, Serena and Julian Guerin. Come on up. Whoa.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank our outstanding town council for assisting today with our annual July 4th celebration, which really is the celebration of our youth. And I'm glad so many people were able to attend, and we look forward to seeing you this fall when we will have an event to celebrate the grand reopening of the town hall, newly renovated town hall, along with our annual newcomers party. So thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great rest of the summer, and please feel free to hang around and enjoy yourself.